It's 19 minutes to 9, breakfast with Trish Travel coming up shortly. But a Coventry man says that for him, accounts of stigma and abuse are what have stood out during the ongoing public inquiry into contaminated blood. Jason Evans, who grew up and lives in the city, founded the Factor 8 campaign group. His father, Jonathan, died in 1993 after being infected with both hepatitis C and HIV from contaminated products known as Factor 8. The public inquiry into how thousands of people were given infected blood products in the 70s and 80s begins its second week of hearings after its summer break today. Jason's with us now. Morning, Jason.
Morning.
Good to see you again. It's just been such a long journey. I last spoke to you, we first started talking 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, it was. I was actually thinking about this last night, and I think it was 2016. I first came in here, but back then, there was nothing happening, and I suppose if there is a positive side to this, since then, there's been the group legal action which is going on. We got the government to announce an inquiry, and so things have moved along. But even so, it's taking a long time.
Have you stood up and said your testimony yet?
No. So this year, the inquiry's been hearing evidence from people who were infected or affected. But I am going to give evidence in my capacity as the founder of Factor 8 about evidence and research and the campaign and all that side of things, which will be next year.
Gosh, I tell you, when will there be a conclusion, Jason, if at all?
It's certainly going to be years. I mean, I think the thought of 2 years was bandied about for a while. It's been 2 years since the inquiry was announced, so it will certainly be longer than that. But I think we're all expecting more years yet.
And what's the outcome for you, Jason? Is it the financial compensation? Is it an apology? What's the end result in your mind's eye?
Well, the goal from the get-go really was, some people may remember that in 2015, there was a Scottish inquiry that reported, which was very limited, had lots of things that held it back. But that inquiry, kind of in its final conclusion, said there was little that should or could have been done differently, which kind of flies in the face of a lot of the evidence we've seen now. And so the ultimate goal is to have that change to there was a lot that could and should have been done differently. I think the upside as well is even the Department of Health now say there was at best a lack of candour, at worst a cover-up. So we're on the same page to some degree now.
And what do you want to see, Jason? Is it financial compensation? Is it an apology? What would be the outcome for you?
For me, the best possible outcome is that the government and the pharmaceutical companies that manufactured, distributed and imported these Factor 8 products accept liability. So they accept that wrongdoing happened. With that, there are things that people may be due, such as compensation, psychological support and all these sorts of things. But that is the ultimate goal. Because
psychological support, you went and your family went through horrendous time, like many of the families, the abuse, the stigma with relatives affected by HIV in those days as well. The links, with all the prejudice that came with that. That's never going to be overcome, is it? You can never get over that, can you?
No, I mean, I think in particular, parents who have lost children and children who have lost parents have never received the psychological support they should have got at all. I mean, growing up for me as a kid, as a teenager, I was never offered any kind of support from anywhere. We just kind of left to deal with it. A very good friend of mine who won't mind his name being mentioned, Tony Frugia, he's giving evidence to the inquiry this Friday, which, by the way, you can watch those all live from 10 a.m. this morning on the Infected Blood Inquiry YouTube channel. But Tony Frugia's giving evidence this Friday. He lost his father and 2 uncles because haemophilia is a hereditary disorder that can run in families. And, it's the same with him. There's a girl I know who lost both her parents, where the mum was infected through the father. And, they've never received any support. And that is so badly needed.
Okay, well, honestly, Jason, I know you're a fighter and you will see it through to the end.
We will indeed.
I don't mind how many times you come in and talk to me. I'm always in inspiration of your determination and focus to get to the end. Thank you very much for coming in. At least 4,000 people in the UK were confirmed as infected with the hepatitis C or HIV. It's estimated around 1,500 have died. Those are the Department of Health figures.